Toot toot! Time to ride the 7800 train, baby.
What the frick are you doing? You're stepping on my toes, baby.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Don't do that.
All right.
Don't do that.
All right.
It's time to ride the funk train. We're here at the Atari 7800 gimmicks. Where we hope you enjoy this. I got crap going off in my background there. But anyway, we hope you enjoy the podcast tonight because we are both depressed. In fact, one of us may take an entire bottle of bleach to bed with us tonight. No, I'm just kidding. We're feeling good. We're feeling right. It's Friday night. The hotel detective, he is out of sight, baby. And we got somebody in the chat already. I can't believe it. Yeah, look at this stuff. You got to get you. Look, my goodness. Tonight. I feel it. We're going to be tonight, John. We're going to be. I feel it, John. We're going to be a 0-point homebrew podcast. If we could be like this, may be one of our best episodes yet. We could be as ZPH if we work our damnedest.
I agree.
Okay, well, what you got?
Well, I guess there's a lot more going on than I initially thought. We have some VCS stuff going on. We were talking a little bit about what's already came out, and I think we both actually beat quite a few VCS games recently, haven't we?
That's right. I was going to say, since we're the 7800 show, we should probably start off with some.
You want to start with 7800?
Yeah, and the 7800 GD, shut your mouth. I'm just talking about the 7800 GD is back in stock. Can you tell all the crusty people out there what in the world? Hey, what's up, Mama Angel? Good grief. Can you tell all the people what that is for all the nerds out there that want to nerd into the night while their wives snore on their CPAP machines?
Yeah, well, the 7800 GD is something, or game drive, I guess, if you want to call it by its full name, which we probably should.
What is it?
Game drive.
Oh, I like that better.
And it's a long line of products that they've been selling. I believe it's Retro HQ. Game drive is something they've released for the Lynx, I believe, the Jaguar, probably all the mainstream consoles, I would think. And it will allow you to play downloaded ROMs right on your 7800, or downloaded 7800 ROMs, I should say. And maybe 2600. I'd have to look into that.
Now you're lying.
Yep, possibly.
You're lying. But so anybody doesn't know, and it's what do they call this thing? It's a multi cart,
flash cart, multi cart, something along those lines.
So if you're new to the sport of retro gaming and you haven't got your Pac-Man elbow yet, it's a physical device they sell, and you stick it into the 7800 just like you're playing a cartridge, but you can play all the ROMs, and there's a selection screen. And it's got a lot of different features too in it, and it's enhanced sound, and
it's got a lot of features we haven't had yet because we've had other flash carts. You can't. Probably the best one to get to this point was the Dragonfly.
Right.
It had a lot more compatibility as far as the audio and the size of the ROMs.
I may offend. We got girls in the chat room tonight. Yeah, we got to clean it up in here, John.
I should have shaved then.
I have Dove. But it's like a Dove sport bar.
Was it on clearance?
That's what my wife always gets me. It's the shit that's like $1.
Smart shopper, yeah.
Yeah,
that leaves more money for Atari stuff. So
that's what we do.
Yep. So the big thing about the 7800 GD, when you combine it, or the game drive, when you combine it with the Mega Drive adapter that they've also released. You all right?
Come on.
It's not a glowing. But when you combine it with the adapter, you get the ability for save states right on the console. You get the ability for. You all right? We might lose Benny early this time.
I got too big of a hit of the Dove Sport. What is it? What flavor is this? Dove.
Yeah, lick it to find out.
Well, this clearance sticker's over the name of the The clearance sticker. It's the men's. Shit, what is this, John? Let me investigate. I may be able to crystallize this, and the people in Tennessee around me can shoot it up.
There you go. Sabretooth says he has the Concerto. He's really interested in the GD. In the GD, he has the Lynx and Game and Jaguar drives from Retro HQ are great. Big thing that this has over the Concerto. Go ahead, Vinny. I see you're dying to promote Dove.
Seaside driftwood, John.
Oh, wow.
So if you've ever been on the dock at the beach and you see some wood drift up.
Oh, Jesus. Whatever you do,
don't smell it.
Don't smell it. Yeah. Yeah, it's pretty lethal, Julian.
I wonder if you have to urinate on the driftwood like you do with a jellyfish.
To get that smell, probably.
Yeah. All right. Sorry, anyway.
No, but the big thing that this has over the Concerto is Concerto had a hard time running EXO 1942.
Which is another game.
Which they're both great homebrew games that have been released for the 7800. So the GD can play them and play them the way they were meant to be. So if you're looking for a flash cart, which in this day and age you probably should be anyway, I would run over to Atari Age and try to pick it up if you can.
So is that how they do it? They go on the forums and Is that it? They go to AtariAge.com and they go to the Atari 7800 section of the forums and they search for Game Drive. Is that right? The 7800 GD?
You can get support on the forums, but they sell it right in the Atari Age store. So if you're
do they?
Yep. If you're interested, you go right to the store tab, go to hardware, not games, under 7800.
Oh.
And you can pick it up. And $15 extra, you get the Mega Drive adapter, but you're gonna want that if you get the Game Drive.
What does the Mega Drive adapter do?
Now that lets you plug in any Sega Genesis controller. Definitely Sega Genesis, possibly Master System.
Into the 7800?
Through the adapter, yeah. And then if you're using the game,
so it's like a Seagull.
Yeah, yep. It's exactly like that, except if you have the Game Drive and you have the Mega Drive adapter, you can use save states. If you don't have both, you can't do that. But if you have them, you can save and load at any time, to my understanding.
And you can pause the game through that too, right?
Yep, and you can pause the game as well.
That's pretty good commercial. So are they going to write us a check or something? And it has an SD card, right?
Yep, that's how you run it. You have to get I believe a micro SD card. But you get one of the smaller ones, an 8 gig, 16 gig, and you can put every game the 7800 has on it. So exciting. It is exciting, and again, it's probably what you guys want. So what's this?
An SV card. What is an SV card?
We said SV out.
SV out.
Oh, yeah, it does have an out on it, actually.
And what's that for? Is that to screen capture stuff or what?
I think so, actually. I thought it was like a RGB out or something. Let me pull this up here.
You guys talk amongst yourselves. Yeah, S video.
S video out. That's right. It wasn't RGB. It was S video out. Yeah, so you can run I believe the video right out of the Game Drive there. And the official word is the 7800 Game Drive also features a unique RGB video and audio output on the cartridge itself, allowing you to play your 7800 and 2600 games in glorious RGB using a compatible Mega Drive 2 style video cable. So yeah, you can run the video right through the S video, the RGB.
Now, is the cable. RGB out? Is that like you get like the advice of a Supreme Court justice? Is it like the spirit of Ruth Bader Ginsburg? What is that?
I mean, obviously, Vinny. I mean,
okay, well, good. So you can wield the power of an unelected juggernaut in the U.S. government, Ruth Bader Ginsburg
yeah.
is going to be able to give you advice on legal issues too. So this is how much
But
is this damn thing with the ghost of
it's
RBG in it?
it's pretty expensive. If you get it without the Mega Drive adapter, it's $159.99 plus shipping. And if you get the adapter, it bumps it up to $175.98. So
Well, I
you
think
will.
that's, man. And somebody here is worried. Do you think that'll work on the 2600 plus? I don't think me and John know yet. So that might.
It might. It depends because the 2600 plus is emulating. So I guess it depends if it can emulate the game drive or not. I
That
don't
sounds like
know.
that sounds like a big fat no. That's an experiment to write down. That sounds like
Yeah.
one of your new videos needs to be, can the
Oh yeah,
what
definitely.
you could try the different flashcards on the 2600 plus, see what would work.
Yep. Yep.
That'd be interesting.
Hopefully
You,
I get it in time.
you have my permission.
Oh well, thank you.
Your channel is kicking my channel's ass, by the way. I wanted to congratulate you. And you just got an Atari 5200.
Yep.
And it's new to you, right?
Oh yeah, it's pretty much brand new. I had one once before, but I didn't hold on to it long.
Well, how could you? You were a child and the thing weighs 98 pounds
Yep,
by
about
itself.
killed me.
Now, before we went on the air, we put the original Xbox over the 5200.
Yep.
And the 5200 dwarfs the original Xbox, which the Xbox was deliciously American, wasn't it? It was just was way too big. It was ridiculous. It looked like a superhero version of a console. And the 5200 dwarfs it. But I was impressed. You always let me say that me and you are not technically advanced. And you took apart your shit and cleaned it, man. I would have been afraid to do that. I don't do that kind of thing.
You're scared to take? I take them apart.
No, because I'll break the shit. It's not like you can go down to Walmart and buy another button or anything.
I'll tell you, I had a hard time putting it back together. I had to cut out about 15 minutes of me pushing and shoving that case back together.
Oh, 15 minutes of you pushing and shoving. I'd love to see that. I'd love to see that video.
Well,
that's what made Kim Kardashian famous. You should have left that in there.
Left that in there, right? Yeah, it could have went viral. Something would have went viral.
There would have been a virus.
Yeah, somewhere. Exactly. And the 5200 controller, I guess. But no, it ain't too hard. I mean, especially with these old controllers, there ain't a whole lot going on the inside. And if you get a 5200, you're gonna want to do that. I mean, that's almost a given. If you want a working stock controller, you either need to pay somebody to do that or you're going to have to do it. So, I mean, if you're not comfortable doing that, I guess I probably, unless you got money to pay somebody, but I guess I want to pick one up.
The funny thing is everybody kind of craps on the 7800 library, but the 5200 library is probably slightly less interesting, don't you think?
In some ways, yeah. I mean, it's definitely it's more like the 2600 library, I guess, more so than the 7800, which they're all kind of similar. They all have, Centipede, Asteroids, that stuff. But 7800 ventured into the more computer-oriented games.
Which was dumb, right? Because the 5200 was almost the same thing as a computer system. But yeah, I looked it up, and I think there's only a handful more games available on the 5200, or maybe less. I can't even remember.
It was about the same, 10 or 11 more, I think, for the 5200.
Yeah, or less. I can't remember. Yeah, something like that. Yeah. It was close though.
Yeah.
Which brings us to the VCS, and we talked about this. The VCS has more games available than any other Atari system besides the 2600 at this point. Which is
that's crazy
to think. It's crazy to think about because everybody's like, these games, there's no games for them. I'm like, there's twice as many than the 5200 and the 7800 already. Way more now.
Yeah.
Than twice.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, there's a good variety of stuff too, I think, at least as far as retro and more modern stuff, because you can get your 2600 games. What they have Haunted House on there, Berzerk, the enhanced version, I believe.
Do they have is that the advanced version they've got in the VCS store?
I think so. I
You
thought
just
it
like
was.
to lie, don't you? You just come up
Hey,
with stuff.
no, I was right about the 2600 stuff on the GD, so I'm not lying. I'm just not sure.
You don't have to lie to impress me. I love you.
No?
So they say Riot Noob says they need to make Berserk or Frenzy into a 3D game. Well, that kind of brings us into what the main topic that we were going to talk about tonight. We were going to save it to the end, but yeah, Berzerk Recharged is what we're waiting on. And from what we've seen, and this is something we don't know, and this is what's fun about Atari right now. They go, hey, this is coming out. See you later. And we're like, blah, 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 blah. And so they don't say anything about it. They show you a screen. They show you some really cool artwork, which is what Atari's known for. And then they just kind of leave you. And then sometimes they just throw something out there, like Montezuma's Revenge. We knew that Atari bought the company that made Montezuma's Revenge. Didn't think anything about it. They just released that on the VCS store. And they did like an updated thing, and it hasn't compelled me yet to purchase it. No. And I heard the only critique is that it's just basically the 2600 version with new graphics.
Well, it pretty much had to be because correct me if any. I haven't bought it yet, but I was really looking hard at it today.
I'm going to at some point. Yeah,
I think you can either switch on the fly or switch in the pause menu the graphics from old to new.
You can.
Which for them to do that, it would almost have to be a direct.
So it's kind of like the Yars Revenge reimagining that Digital Eclipse did with the Atari 50th celebration. But anyway, going back and then Obsidian here says if we're going to, all the 7800, or excuse me, the VCS games are around 125 or 150. Plus you get all the 100 games in the Atari 50th anniversary collection. Plus you get a shit ton through the Atari Vault.
Both of them.
Yep. And then you can go to Antstream Arcade and play a bunch of crap on that too if you want.
Oh yeah, if you count that, there's tons of
I don't know if you technically would. But anyway, getting back to Berzerk. So we're waiting for Berzerk, and we know some people do not like how the graphics are. I think it looks pretty good, but it does look like it's going to be converted, and this is going to make it interesting. It's going to be more of a bullet hell game, it looks like, John. It looks like it's going to be more of a dual joystick, and that makes me wonder if there's dual joystick when you use the modern controller. Can you use the classic controller and play the game like a two-dimensional Atari Warriors?
Ooh, yeah, maybe you could. Have they said anything about the
No, that's what I'm saying. They freaking lead us into temptation. That's about it.
I don't know. What was the last game that really used the classic controller? It was the
Quantum Recharged or
Quantum.
Yeah, Quantum Recharged.
So
I think.
I guess it hasn't been that long. I don't know if they would do that or not. Do you think that? I could see them trying it, I guess.
Well, if you think about it, though, Yars Revenge Recharged is either or.
Yeah.
And Gravitar. I don't remember if it's like a dual stick game. It's not like a dual stick game, but but you can use the joystick. So you can use the joysticks. That means it is like an Atari Warrior. So
that'll be interesting.
Yeah, man. You can see that's cool. What I love about this Atari VCS stuff right now is because I like the little options they have with the same leaderboards. Like I love using the grappling version. I can't remember what they call it in Yars Revenge, where you don't even shoot bullets.
Yeah, that's my favorite mode. Yeah.
And you go nom, 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 nom. So it's kind of like Pac-Man and a big fat beetle or something eating the stuff. But you can do it with the classic controller, which is what I use. Or you can use the dual stick.
Did you get your score? Sorry, not to cut you off, but on Yars Revenge, you had a pretty decent score. Did you do that with the classic controller?
Yeah.
Wow.
I'm badass, bro.
Yeah, that's hardcore because I could not play that game with the classic controller. Like I love that controller, but I could not do that.
Yeah, I'm
So-
still number 2 with Quantum Recharged.
Oh, nice.
But I don't think anybody likes that game.
No, I liked
Yeah.
it when I played it, but I'd rather play yours, honestly. Or
Well, they're coming out with so much shit. And it's
right,
like,
exactly.
like me and you were like, let's up. About 2 or 3 months ago, we were like, let's up the Atari awareness. And
Yep.
we've got Atari7800forever.com. That needs to be plastered somewhere that people can read every. We need to work on. Can you put a background the next time? Maybe. I don't know. But anyway, Atari7800forever.com. You can go review every 7800, or we review every. You don't have to do it. We've done it for you. Take it easy. Take your shoes off. Get a lemonade. We got it taken care of. Every 7800 game we're working on getting reviewed. We got most of them. And I'm going to do this week, by the way, on the website. And it'll probably, I don't know if I'm doing videos or just writing an article, but I'm doing a Pack Jason. We're looking at that homebrew, which is a pack. It's already 7800 Miss Pac-Man hack with.
Yep.
It's one of the better hacks of Pac-Man.
I liked it. Yeah.
I like the crosses in the corners and stuff. It was a pretty good themed. It's dark. So it's a pretty good hack. I don't want to give anything away. And then we're going to look at Muddy Funster's 2048, which is the last game of that last batch from last year of 7800 games that we have not reviewed. And then me and you really need to go back and clean up. Yeah, we've reviewed all the others. There was 9, we reviewed 8. And me and you need to go back. For some reason, we haven't done a Meteor Shower, Shoot the UFO. We haven't reviewed Dungeon Stalker for some reason, but
yeah, that's a big one. I thought for sure we did that.
Nope.
Wow.
I don't know why. We got to clean that up before this next batch starts shipping.
Yeah. Well, we'll have a little while. It'll come out in November, I think. He said the next batch is
next November.
No, this November.
Oh shit!
Yeah.
I was like,
in a few short weeks here, he should put them on the store, but it'll be a few months before we get them, I'm sure.
So anyway, yeah, and Black Widow did it too. And Black Widow was the first of the Recharge games with the new style, and that style is badass. And there's so many. Can you imagine if they did Ninja Golf Recharged and Fatal Run Recharged? There's a lot of stuff they could do.
Well, yeah, I think they should do that. I mean, think about that, because they can get access to Alien Brigade, Ninja Golf, Scrapyard Dog. Think about Scrapyard Dog Recharged. That deserves another chance.
Yeah, that would make it next level, man.
And
yeah, dude, like unbelievable. And I'd like Dreadnought Factor, because I guess they don't have the license for that.
That was an Activision game.
Those bastards. Anyway, they should buy Activision out, or at least their old games.
Yeah.
That would be because everybody with all your videos and mine too. I always get messages on stuff like, "Where's Pitfall?" And you're just like, and we start to almost turn into the snobs over at the Atari Age forums. We're like, "Stupid ass, don't you know?"
Yeah.
And then you're like, well, people don't follow this stuff. They just see Atari and they think, "Oh, I love Pitfall or River Raid."
Yeah, you get that comment a lot. Like, this should have every single one. I wanted, like you said.
Where? Yeah, they'll always say something like, "Where's River Raid?"
Yep.
And you're like,
exactly.
River Raid's not that good, by the way. I don't know why everybody likes it, but
River Raid? You don't like River Raid either?
Yeah, I don't. Yeah,
you don't like anything that's good. What's your favorite game
of Atari?
Yeah, of Atari.
Well, that's going to make me look worse
because you don't like Hero, you don't like Haunted House, you don't like.
I do like Artie, by the way. Artie's
awesome.
Artie by Muddy Funster, which is available. You can buy that 7800 coming out on Atari Age, or you can get it at the VCS store, which is amazing. Very freaking good. Kind of a reimagining of Hero.
Right.
But I didn't like Haunted House, but I liked the Haunted House Recharge. We both reviewed that on both of our channels, and I think. Did you give it a pretty favorable review?
Yeah, I think I gave it 3 out of 5, 4 out of 5. I can't remember off the top of my head.
That's a big difference.
Yeah.
3 out of 5 is an eh. And
well, I noticed too, you hated the audio on that game. And I remember that because my quote was, "Whoever did the audio should get a pat on the back and $1 raise," because I liked it that much. So I can't believe you didn't.
What? It's like, this is okay, everybody. This is the new Haunted House Recharge music.
All right, now do it when you get into a fight.
I don't know. I'm always swearing.
Oh, well, that's the problem. Okay.
The only thing I think, there's no voice acting.
No,
and there's when you're going through the cut scenes.
Did you expect voice acting though? Did you honestly expect it?
Why don't you, if you're with Atari and you need some GD voice acting, just call me and Silverback. We'll do the shit here.
Yeah.
I'll be like, "Oh, my uncle's stuck in a house. Oh no,
we gotta go get him."
Right? Look, did you hear that, Atari? We'll do it for cheap.
Yeah.
But like the music I thought was pretty. Yeah, the sound was terrible. The only thing, it's a horror movie thing. Each one of those, look at those. This is what I would want to say about Haunted House Recharge. Are the monsters and stuff are really interesting. A howdy doody looking spider that comes from the always jacks me up.
I like that guy.
The little the effing like monkey demon thing with the gigantic horns coming out of his head.
He was cool
scary.
too. Yep.
The little doll that's asleep and you wake up.
Yep.
Yeah, there's a lot of things that are creepy. And the only thing that sounds scary, audio-wise, I guess it's the only thing you can do with it. But anyway, the only odd thing audio-wise that was scary was the wailing witch, like the one that was crying over her dead baby or whatever. It's like Left 4 Dead.
What? You made it through the whole game, right?
I got to ask you this. Now, everybody turn off for a second. Since you remember today, I said, can I call you? And you're like, "I'm working because I have bills to pay."
Yep.
And I'm like,
I remember
MF,
that.
I'm rich. I just sit around and pick my navel. I went and shot pool for 6 hours a day.
Oh, nice.
Shit.
I worked for about 8.5, 9 hours. So
I can live this way until the IRS shuts me down, baby.
But
anyway, the reason I was saying, can I call you today? It's not because I like you or you're my friend.
No, I know.
It's because I needed your help. It's and everybody else, hold on a second. So I'm real close to beating it.
Okay.
But there's the damn room where the ghosts are going through the
mirrors.
Yeah.
Yep.
What is there one that's the real one?
All right, so you're doing the boss battle then, right?
Yeah.
Because there's like a bunch of them. There's probably like 20 ghosts on the screen, or maybe not that many, but.
And if you disturb one, they just jack your jive.
Yeah, there's one that's the real one. So you got to find the real one. He's more white than the others.
That's what I thought, and it looked.
And there's some that are whiter than others, but he's like really white. I think is the difference.
Is this a racial thing? Are they trying to? Are they going to get us in trouble? Are they going to get us canceled?
And then it gets harder after that because you got to do that again. Except they throw in another wrench into it. So yeah, after you do the mirror thing, just remember he's really, really white.
So the 3% of me that is from Ivory Coast can really get into beating that dude's ass. So, yeah. But anyway, so yeah, we were talking about the games I don't like. I'm not a big fan of Pitfall. Now I love Pitfall 2.
Yeah.
I love Pitfall 2, but River Raid.
Well, Pitfall 2 is like exactly like Pitfall minus no time limit, right?
Are you high? Is that your brain rusting?
I'm trying.
Is that the sound effect? Pitfall 2 is completely different than Pitfall.
I know
it's the same little man,
right?
But you run. It's like a multi-layered. You go way down into the caves, and you beat the game. I guess you can beat Pitfall 2, but yeah, you go down, and there's like all sorts of layers and stuff, and it's
Oh
it's
yeah,
like
it's like
an adventure thing.
Yeah. No, you're right. Pitfall 2 is way more in depth than Pitfall.
I'm impressed with how Pitfall utilized the limited space to make a game last that long. I think that was pretty awesome. And Sabretooth Retro, you're exactly right.
Yeah.
One thing I would say about Haunted House is there's a ton of bugs in it. It's
ton
like
of
my
them.
old
Yeah.
it's like my old apartment in downtown Knoxville. But like today, for example, I decided in my review, if you watch my review, which I could use the love because it's only got like 82 views and it's actually pretty well
Oh,
produced
really?
video. Yes, I don't know what the fuck
I
I'm
gotta
doing
say,
wrong.
your reviews have more production quality than mine. Just
Well, I,
wow.
I do this shit professionally, and it's like I can. But anyway, um, but I don't mention the bugs. I should have. I think I might have mentioned them
Yeah.
in passing. But like today, I chose the fat kid.
Yeah.
And I even said in my review I didn't want to switch, but I realized if you upgraded, the upgrades go from kid to kid.
Yep. Yep.
Okay, I didn't
I
know
mean,
that
they
when I
have
did the
different
review.
starting stats, but yeah,
That's right.
right.
But if you got a whole bunch of health and you use the fat kid because he's like,
He's got a ton of
football
health.
game, yeah,
Yep.
he's like a tank. However, I died in a weird thing where I'm leaving the room and the ghost killed me, and
Yep.
then I'm walking so slow, and I'm like, wait a minute, is this fat kid really this slow? I don't remember that. So then I switched over to the girl with the Carmen Diaz. There's something
Yeah.
about Mary
Yeah.
hair,
Yeah.
and she was walking real slow, and I had to turn the entire game off to
Yep.
turn it back on. There's been moments where I'm fighting a boss, and
Yep.
a guy comes out of the mirror to grab you, and I evaded it, but yet
But it still went
the
through the
camera
animation.
zooms in,
Yep.
yeah, and I can't. I'm trying to run around. I'm like, I can't see
Yep.
GD.
That's happened to me too.
Yeah, so there's some stuff they could fix, but it's good, and there's no real penalty for that. But anyway,
No, you can die and restart as much as you need to.
25-minute caveat. Getting back to this man's comment about Berzerk being 3D. So Berzerk is coming out for the Atari VCS, and John
Yep.
and I were wanting to talk about tonight. And I guess we can't. This is actually kind of stupid now that I think about it. But I guess we could do it from this angle. Do you think this is going to be better than Bob DeCrescenzo's Frenzy?
It's going to be different. I don't know. After we talked about it the first time, because I think we briefly touched on it, that it's did we confirm or I think we all but confirmed that it's a twin stick shooter, right?
Yeah. We just said that 5 minutes ago.
Right. So I don't know. It's going to be a different game. It's
Robotron.
Yeah,
with a
it's
Berzerk
not,
paint job, I think.
and that's why I'm wondering: are the rooms going to get really packed with a ton of robots? Is it going to be Robotron in that sense, or because
probably a little less.
I almost think that Frenzy is going to be a better Berzerk game, but maybe the Berzerk Recharge will be a better game overall. I don't know.
Well, let me look. I mean, I have a high regard for Frenzy. Let's see.
Yeah.
I want to see on my website, Atari7800forever.com. I want to see where it ranks. I've got it as the 9th best.
That's about right.
7800 game there is. So it's still in the top 10, even though it's been released a few years ago.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
Yeah.
Yeah, I honestly think Frenzy's gonna Frenzy's gonna be the better
of the two.
Berzerk game of the two, yeah.
So now that we know what we know, and now that people own what they own, do you think it's a possibility that they will, in celebration or concert like Nintendo does, will they release Bob DeCrescenzo's version of Frenzy on the VCS store?
Yeah, I could see him doing that. I could see them releasing that on cartridge, honestly, because I think they're going to want to put these homebrews on cartridge and sell them on their physical store too, just to test the water. They might pick a few and do that.
Yeah, I wonder what they're going to do price-wise.
That's the thing too. Is I think since it's available on Atari Age, they're going to have to do something different. I don't know what that's going to be though. Maybe it could be like the gimmick with the Gravatar that you showed off. I don't know, but they'll do something. They'll test the waters. Whether or not it'll come on the VCS, I don't know. Because
God, I hope not. Not in front of the children. Jesus.
Because God, you're throwing me off here. But we lost him. I think you.
Hold on a
You all
second.
right? There you go. All right.
Get me back.
That's going to be your smelling salt, huh?
We got driftwood and sea spit or whatever that is. All right. Yeah. Well, somebody said Frenzy's a lot better than Berzerk.
Yeah, that's Sabretooth wonders if Atari will work with Bob to release Frenzy as an XP cart.
Last time we talked to Bob said they haven't contacted him after the failsafe gimmick.
Right, so, yeah, they haven't been in touch with him, which I find weird because Bob is like the man.
Oh, he is the man, and they're talking to Muddy a lot apparently.
Yep.
So, and maybe Telchow too, and hopefully some of our other heroes, homebrew heroes.
Well, that's the thing. I think they're listening.
To me. To you. Finally, somebody is listening.
So Atari. I think if you really want this stuff, I mean, get on the forums and let them know because they are listening. I think the more, we have a direct avenue now in Atari age to talk to them. So
that's true, and I post shit up there all the time. I speaking of which, Neo Sprint, they wanted feedback. Now they updated. Yep. Now last time I was in Charleston, West Virginia when we were premiering one of my movies. Up there,
that's right. Yep.
And I was in the street. And I got stabbed when I left the interview with you or the podcast. Actually, Charleston is just a delightful city. I can't believe it. But anyway, so what was I saying, John? I'm fucking flaked out.
Yeah, when you were leaving Charleston, they just released the update for Neo Sprint.
Yeah, you were, and we were talking about it, and it seemed like they listened to a little bit of what the community had to say, but it seems like there's still some issues. So I still think they can fix that, but
they're definitely working on it. They now have the version number in the corner too. If you saw that, like it's 1.27, I think is what it's on now.
And you know what the exciting thing is, John? Who gives a shit about Sprint anyway? It was one of those throwaway. Seriously, it was one of those throwaway. Nobody thought when it came out we were like Neo Sprint. I thought, okay, shovelware from some weird, and you're like, no, this is a reimagining of the old Sprint series. And I'm like, what? Can you imagine if they came out with Fire Truck and they made it pretty good or something like, or Avalanche or one of these old games that nobody ever really thinks
Avalanche
about.
would be a good one. Yeah.
They could do Avalanche Recharged, man.
Yep.
But I'm wondering
what is classic controller.
Yeah, what are they doing with Lunar Lander too? I don't even know if they're going to put it on the VCS. Lunar Lander Beyond looks great, and they're putting a lot of time into it.
Yeah.
I don't know. We should get all the homebrew on the VCS. I agree.
Yeah, I agree. There's no reason not to, really. I mean, outside of, I'm sure
licensing,
licensing, and Albert will let them know which ones don't do and don't sell. So, but still,
put it out anyway. What the hell? You throw
it's all free money, actually. Yeah.
I mean, I if it was me, I'd put like 2 a week or 1 a week. And you would always have, that's what I said in my review of the VCS. You know, I've got to go back. That's one of those evergreen videos for me on my channel where it's an honest review of the Atari VCS. And I get messages all night long about that video. And I need to go, well, I'm lying, not all night, like once or twice a week at night at 3 a.m. Some guy that can't sleep is watching my freaking video. But anyway,
sorry about that.
I appreciate the hit.
Yeah.
But you know, I get people all the time going, yeah, they need to do this and this. And I'm like, well, they now are. So we are, the zip code gimmick with the credit card.
Yeah.
We finally fixed that.
I can buy games again.
I mean, they got to get their shit together a little bit, but other than that, they're kind of moving in the right direction. Well,
it honestly took way too long to fix that zip code bug. What killed me, they fixed it, and then it came back like 3 days later. I'm glad I bought a bunch of games as soon as they fixed it, but man, I don't know what was going on there. I guess, just for anybody that was curious, Atari's official word was they do their billing through a third party, and it had something to do with that third party. They said if it was their problem, they would fix it faster, but they're relying on another company, I guess. So.
Well, you told me it was credit card processor. Is that what you said?
It's the credit. Yeah, whoever's handling their credit cards. So I don't. Supposedly, it's all taken care of now, so we'll see. But yeah, that's
Take it easy.
super exciting.
Yeah.
Super
Super
Sprint was
Sprint.
the. Yeah, go ahead. I'll let you read it.
Super Sprint was the first 3-wheel arcade I'd seen back in the day. Well, they had Super Sprint 2, and
Yep.
they had like 10.
I think
They had to be ridiculous, or 8. They had a
they had some crazy big ones.
Hey, thank you.
Yeah, well, you know,
It's my
help you out as much as I can.
well, my ancestry comes to the Moors.
There you go.
Yeah, dark skin, dark eyes.
Yeah, right. You're throwing me off here.
Hey, we doing?
So yeah, the Super Sprint update though, I don't know, did we talk about what it was real fast? They added a cut scene and they changed the races, I think. And that
On Neo Sprint, you beat the game.
Yeah, Neo Sprint. Did I say Super Sprint again? I keep saying Super Sprint.
Well, you're from Toledo.
Yeah, right.
So let's talk about some stuff here. Zip code glitch. We were going to talk about these things. Speaking of update, Doodle Taxi got an update. I wonder what
Doodle
that.
Taxi. Do you have that?
I do. Yeah.
Oh wow.
I own a taxi company.
Oh yeah.
So when it's an interesting art style, and it's about a taxi universe, or a taxi person gets cursed by a witch and removes all the color from the world.
Oh, I think you told me about this. Okay.
And it sounds like one of my movies that I make. And so I got it, and the physics work well. I'm not in love with it for a couple reasons, but if they updated it, I'd like to see. I'd like to see that. Now, Avian Nights, I looked at that last week. I do not. It's Joust. I always feel it's a version of Joust. And so I always feel like Joust games are destroying my controllers. I feel like an old man every time I'm going. Ta, 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 ta. Now I can play a shooter,
right,
and do that, and it doesn't bother me. This is how stupid my brain is. But every time I make the guy flap, I'm like,
you think
I'm
you're
destroying my GD joystick. So
they only have so many presses in them.
That's what I'm saying. Now that you confirmed it, it's going to make me feel bad.
I think they have 10,000 lifetime.
But yeah, that's right. They count down, and there's a little man with a switch that throws off. And so now we want to talk about the games that we beat.
Well, real quick, Obsidian, he wants your thoughts because he worked on Doodle Taxi.
Okay, yeah, I remember.
Obsidian's worked on a lot of VCS games.
Well, man, you need to make a Funkmaster V versus Silverback game for the VCS, where I just tell the player just takes me and just beats the shit out of Silverback. I put him in a figure 4, break his leg, I punch it. His wife comes in, please leave him alone. I go Hadouken, boom. I get that, and give me the fucking spinning pile driver of Zangief.
I would say then my character, you push a button, he pees himself. You push another button, he curls up in a ball.
That's right. Well, that's actually one of my moves in pro wrestling.
Oh, there you go.
If you can make me look like this with an afro and really cool glasses, there we go. But about Doodle Taxi, I like the idea of it a lot. The one thing about me is the AI cars. No matter what happens, the cars just do what they do. They don't respond to you. And I haven't played it a whole lot, but I know I played probably about 20 minutes. I didn't really clear off. I kept just doing the same. Pick somebody up, take them over here, drop them off. I didn't clear off any of the world, and I didn't want to do a review until I almost beat the game. That's kind of what sometimes when I wait a while to do a review, it's because I'm not doing very well.
Yeah.
So I will, before I go publicly and say I hate Doodle Taxi or I love Doodle Taxi, I'm going to keep playing it, which John and I have done pretty well. Now, we haven't done this in concert, but I have beaten EXO on the VCS, and I have beaten Days of Doom like a dog. Those types, I love turn-based games like that. and if you keep beating Days of Doom, you keep leveling up, and you get to start with better shit. So basically, you just become like God mode at the end, and that's always fun,
That's
especially if you can
fun. Yeah.
remember how hard it was in the beginning to get through it.
Yep.
So I've almost beat Days of Doom the most you can beat it, really. Like I've almost unlocked
Oh wow,
everything.
like 100%.
Oh yeah, something like that. I'm real
Yeah.
close. I'm 2 more playthroughs away before I do that, and then
Wow.
so I really enjoyed Days of Doom. I gave that a 3.5 out of 5, and that's good. That's a 7. Probably it's kind of close. And maybe maybe should have been a 4, but that's a good game. And then EXO is the highest rated. If you go to my channel, which is Big and Funky Productions, on mine, I rank all of the VCS games, and then also all the Recharged games, and then all the 7800 games too,
Yeah,
on my reviews, so you can kind of see where they land. And EXO is the #1 game so far that I've played. And then you've beat what, 3?
Yeah, 3. I beat 3 VCS games, I think, in the last week.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah. And it just kind of worked out like that. It wasn't, planned, but I beat Haunted House, I think, on or around Halloween.
How
Which
cliche.
yeah, that last boss, the one you were talking about, he's the second to last, but he might as well be the last. That guy was difficult for me. I don't know how many times you've tried him, but I probably spent a
I'm not
good
as good at that game as you are. I get it. That game, my mentality is you go through like a bull. That's why I use Zangief. You
yeah.
just, "Ugh."
Yeah.
You have to sneak, and after it becomes tedious, the stealth stuff sometimes,
Yeah,
and the
yeah,
puzzle
it
solve.
does.
I just want to be able to level up, and I want to take the fat kid and just
Yep.
break the
That's how I beat it. Yeah.
with the fat kid.
Yep.
Okay, good.
Yep.
I'm gonna use him then.
Because yeah, he had the most health, and I got tired of sneaking, and yeah, I kind of did what you said. I just pushed
Yeah.
through.
So anyway, I'm impressed that I'm there. That I'm that
Yeah,
close.
you're pretty much there. And then have you saved one thing? I don't think this is a spoiler. It actually kind of ticked me off the first time I found out. You have to save all the kids before you beat that ghost too. If you haven't saved the last kid,
Well,
then
how do you get the key to save the last kid?
um you should have got it already, I think.
I don't have it.
No?
I hope that
It
thing didn't glitch screw me, or
no, it didn't. Because I beat it. Maybe you do have to go through the first time. And beat it without the last kid. Maybe I got the key after I beat it, but you go through the whole thing. You're ready to save your uncle, and then it says, "Oh no, you didn't save the last kid," and then it kills you, and you have to.
That sounds stupid.
Yeah, you have to save the last kid, and then do that boss again. You can't skip the ghost boss. You have to fight him again and beat him another time.
You're making me sad.
Same battle. It's no different. And then you can finally save your uncle, and then that leads to
That sounds
a final.
that kind of sounds lame, doesn't it?
Yeah, so
That's one of those programming things where it's like, we're going to make you jump through the same hoop to lengthen the experience.
To lengthen the experience. And that I kind of said that a little bit too, because it ticked me off, and I had such a hard time beating him the first time that I didn't even want to try again. But I did. I beat it, and it's a fun game. Play it for the fun of the game. Don't try to play it to the end, because you'll be disappointed.
Yeah, you said the ending sucks. So you beat that one, but I love Haunted House Recharged, or it's not Recharged.
It's great.
It is a fun game, and I've actually seen people review it outside of the Atari community, and they've given it pretty favorable reviews.
Oh, really?
7s and 6s,
nice,
and 8s, which is, I'm surprised, because to me, do you agree that the graphics are just so generic looking?
Well, like we said, there's things to love about it. The certain ghost designs.
Great.
We talked about the puppet, the microphone head guy. But yeah, overall, it's cell phone.
Looks like a cell phone game. Yeah.
Yeah, so. I could see you playing it on a bus ride on your iPhone or something. Yeah. Or something that looked like
you couldn't probably play that game. It's
not that
nuanced,
game,
but it looks
something that looked like it. Yeah.
So it is a video game for a console, but it looks like a cell phone.
Graphics ain't everything either, though.
No,
I mean,
well, we're Atari people, aren't we? We believe that. Yeah.
So I know that people always want the stuff to look as good as they can. and it looks pretty good for what it is. It's got a good style, I think. Even though it's a cell phone graphics, they did really, really good work with the ghost design.
Oh, and the houses look cool.
Yeah, and the Were-Rabbit is great. Did you come across the Were-Rabbit?
He caused a lot of glitches. Is that the thing that turns into a super sized? Is it like a
Yep.
bouncing?
He
Yeah,
follows you around and he doesn't do anything
I've
until you.
had. If he, dude, that one glitched out too. There, like when the
Really?
Were-Rabbit is in a room where you have to kill all the enemies to clear the room,
Oh, I never
and
had that happen.
and you try to use a trap, he never changes into the
Oh,
Were-Rabbit, and so you have to back out of the game. Like if
yeah.
he's kind of like how there's the inflatable Berzerk
Yep.
clown balloon thing. He'll just sit there and look at it the whole damn time. And I got
Yeah.
a 2x4 just beating him in the head, going, God
Yeah.
dang it, I don't want to reset. So
That's true too, because you can't damage him until or at all, can you?
until he's
the big guy, yeah.
Yeah.
So wow.
Yeah, it sucks. So Atari, if you're watching that, you got to fix that too. Get a little patch on that guy.
I guess I didn't even get to the other two. I also beat Neo Sprint, which I think we did touch on briefly.
I'm amazed that you beat that.
Yeah, for people that don't know, and I didn't know this when I did the review, if you win every race in every cup, now you got a gold trophy next to every single race. You unlock basically a special cup. It's called the Atari Cup, which was what I thought they should have named the cups anyway, like Atari Cup, VCS Cup, etc. And
John, 2600 cup, 5200 cups,
7800 cup, and then
why don't they
Cup.
talk to us?
Yeah, yep.
Call us when you're making a game. We've been around. We'll tell you what to fucking do.
But
instead of racing around against these anime dorks nobody cares about, how about have the boss of the tracks be Rendell the Red or something, or Pete from Outlaw?
And they just introduced those characters in Atari Mania too, so we're
refreshed with them. That's right. Millipede. Oh, Pete is a character now apparently.
Yeah.
So we'll pretend that he's one of the. So it's like they took the slice or the idea out of Nintendo's world.
Yeah.
We'll make these characters something that they can market. Well, then God, market the thing, man.
Yep. But they I would not recommend trying to win every race in Neo Sprint, especially because the last cup, and I'm curious if anybody else has experienced this. In the last cup, before you unlock the Atari Cup, if you get a photo finish, you know how it zooms in and it shows the start finish line and your bumpers are coming through. If you do that on the last cup, the game crashes right back to the Atari home.
Are you talking about all of the snow cups or the very fast? Oh, gee.
All of them, as far as I remember. So I had to beat it, and I could not have a photo finish. it was.
Well, the other thing that's tricky about that is you have to pick which car can defeat all four.
Yep.
Races. Like I'm stuck on the one, I think I'm racing against Mercedes, and I can zip through, and this is the first part of the snow cup.
Yep.
And I do great on the first three. And then if you remember, there's a track that looks like this. It goes looks like lower intestines.
Yeah.
But they're symmetric.
Yep, I remember that one.
I'm in a fast car. I can't take the turns. So I get in a big blocky bullshit like a Skion or whatever that's supposed to be, or a Kia Soul. And then I can't win any of the first three races because the car's so slow and they're like super speedways. So I'm stuck in a trap, man. And I can't beat that trick.
Try the old-fashioned open-wheel car. I forget what that was called.
Like the first one?
No, it's like the third one, I think.
The second one. It's the one with the big muffler.
Yeah, it's the old-timey looking thing.
That's my favorite car of the whole mess anyway.
That one does pretty good on every track, just about.
I can't fucking beat her with that one though. But anyway, and then so what else did you beat? And
then I beat Atari Mania just 2 days ago, I think, on Wednesday, Tuesday. And that game's a trip. It's kind of micro game. I think they're called micro games where you have maybe 5 to 20 seconds to quickly play adventure, get your guy through the gate. Now play Gravatar and land on the pad or blow up all the enemies, and now play Outlaw and shoot your enemy. Only this time Pong paddles are in the way. And it's fun. It's cool. It might take you a time or two to learn what you actually have to do, but the boss fights are really, they're really cool, but they're really hard. Because when you complete all the mini games, you have to fight a boss, and when you get to the end, it's
it's a weird flavor because they're simple, and everything looks so like. And Nintendo does this sometimes. You'll be playing a game like, oh, this is a kid's game, and then you're sitting there 2 hours later going, God damn! Exactly. And like everything looks so cutesy, and you're like, I can't beat this dork game. My biggest problem with Atari Mania, congratulations on beating it. I'm surprised since you're an Asteroids guy. Since you're an Asteroids guy and I'm a Gravatar, more of a Gravatar guy than an Asteroids guy, but the steering of the ship is wrong. And so when in my mind, I'm like, this is Asteroids. When I play it on Atari Mania, the controls are different. Again, this is when I say, talk to Atari people when you make Atari games.
The controls are off.
The control for the Asteroids is just, the ship is different. It's like, it doesn't feel like you're really playing Asteroids, which is terrible.
Yeah, it's kind of somewhat different, but if you take it for its own thing, I guess.
But I'm not smart enough.
It didn't bug me as much as it did you.
Well, which is weird because you're an Asteroids guy.
But you know what, though? A lot of stuff they go back to, but Asteroids is one that after you kind of do the Asteroids levels, they don't really call back to it anymore. So maybe that's why. Maybe just because once you're done with it, you're done with it, I guess.
I think I've said this once before on the podcast, and if I do a review, they'll have to suffer through this too. But I had a dream as a kid. I remember it was in elementary school where a friend of mine had a system, and you could put different cartridges in the system, and it would change the games. Like it would conflate all the games, and it would, like, you could have Pac-Man running through Pitfall being shot at by the space invaders. And so Atari Mania is kind of like that.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. That's a good way to describe it. Yeah.
Yeah.
So Atari Mania, it's fun. You can get it on anything too. So I think Switch, PlayStation, Steam.
Yeah.
All that stuff. So
play it on the Atari though.
Oh yeah, if you have a VCS, play it on that for sure.
Because do you get to use the classic controller on that? No.
No, I don't think so.
Hot damn it.
Yeah, at least I didn't. But what can you do?
What do we got? Let's go through this. The people talking. Are they still talking, or we bore them to death?
I think they're
going to sleep.
People nowadays give middle to low. High reviews on older games because they compare 70s, 80s, etc. games to 2000 games and really do not understand that those games were limited to hardware. Yeah, I think people forget that sometimes. That the older games, you couldn't do a lot of stuff that you could do today. And even if you do a throwback game, like I'm going to make a game that looks like a Nintendo game, you still got a whole world of technology that they didn't have back then. So yeah, it's kind of hard for people to go back and get in that mindset of.
Well, it's like music, man. I mean, or not music, but movies. I mean, people sit there and go, "Oh, this classic movie's great," and then you watch it and you're like, there are elements that are great. There's things now that wouldn't hold up in modern cinema, and so. There are a few exceptions, like The Hustler, anything with Paul Newman, anything with like. James Dean. There's anything with a lot of the Hitchcock stuff, but even a lot of the Hitchcock stuff, even the older stuff, is not very good anymore. But So what you find are the things that survive the length of time. Like Tempest still is badass. If you go back and play Tempest, it's still 100 out of 100. If you go play Crystal Castles, is there really a game that is that cool looking and fun and a maze game, but it's isometric and so like Asteroid still holds up pretty well. Centipede still holds up. So I mean that's why Atari is known for what it is these games have such incredible replay value and they were so simple, and that's why these recharge games are really pretty cool, and they really should do the first 5 Recharge games over again in the new style, because what they've been doing is amazing.
Yeah, I don't know. I doubt they will.
They won't.
Yeah, because they want to keep moving forward, and I don't blame them. They got a lot of stuff they could do. Like you said, it'd be crazy to see an avalanche or a fire truck recharge, but you know what? I think it'd be very interesting. It'd get some attention.
Ninja Golf, man.
Ninja Golf recharged. Yep.
Fatal Run. Planet Smashers.
Yeah.
God, Planet Smashers is so good if they fixed 2 or 3 things.
Yeah.
Yeah. And the way it is, the sound would be one of them.
Sound, yep. I was gonna say the sound of your gun firing nonstop.
God, it's terrible. And the plane looks like shit.
It was a cool idea though, because you could not let anything pass you if you wanted to win.
That was so cool, man.
Yep.
So cool.
You had to get good at killing everything on the screen, because if you let it fly by, the Earth would die just that little bit more.
Well, what would happen is have you ever beaten Planet Smashers?
I did. I have the footage for my Man versus 7800.
So people think I'm a liar, but you
a liar.
But the Earth Shield, when you lose the Earth Shield, doesn't blow up the Earth. It just takes away all your reserve planes. So at that point,
oh really?
Yeah, it doesn't destroy the Earth. You just can't. Like if you built up 10 extra ships, they're all wasted. So yeah.
So here that whole time I was still.
Nobody knows because it's so damn hard.
Well, yeah, I was making sure nothing passed me. Right at the end, I had just a tiny sliver of the Earth Shield left, and I beat it.
Well, John, if you did that, that's an amazing feat, man. Because I lost my Earth Shield probably on wave World 5 or 6, and just did not die until the end. Yeah, that was pretty awesome.
Well, that's pretty impressive too, though. I'm pretty sure I died after that. So
it's the power of the funk.
Yep.
Anybody else saying some beautiful things?
No, we put him to sleep, I think. You know what would be cool too, just to throw it out there though, Basketball Recharged. Think about that a little bit. Do you think they could do a recharge on that?
I think basketball. I mean, they could. Basketball's pretty. I hate saying this. It's kind of perfect for what it is.
I think if you did, it'd almost be like NBA Jam almost. I don't know how you would do that.
I don't know. You'd have to sit there and think about it, because you want to make it better, but you don't want to make it into something else either. That's the thing. I always thought basketball was great because it was a video game instead of a sports game, if that makes sense. It was if you turn it into a sports game, it's going to lose what basketball was. I think basketball was very unique. People's like, it's like Arch Rivals from Nintendo. No, Arch Rivals is a lot like a basketball game. This was more of a calculated, because what I do in basketball is, and I'm the unofficial world record holder in basketball, I just beat the shit out of people.
Yep, and then do layups when they're on the ground.
Do layups and avoid the knife guy.
Yep.
So
I think they should have continued with that, because they had Ninja Golf, basketball. They should have had Samurai Tennis and just went off the wall with it.
Instead of real sports, it could have been blood sports.
Exactly. Yeah, there you go.
People talk to me and John. Why don't you go back and get into a time machine, come talk to us, and then go back, and we could save Atari together.
Think about doing... We got a suggestion. I'll have to look into that. He wants us to do polls during the live chat to keep the chat engaged. That's a good idea. As soon as I figure out how to do it.
Yeah. So you got to. John was like asking me how to do this shit 2 months ago, and now his channel is destroying mine. I've had a channel for 50. I've never been. I was monetized like 11 years ago, and they changed the parameters. Like John's about to be monetized. You can do super chats, which I don't think we're popular enough for that yet.
No, there ain't no point.
Well, I know you're humble, but I'm talking like if we get to a point to where the chat is moving like this, like somebody farted,
right?
The super chats, you read those on air. And
it makes it so they stay on the screen. Yeah.
And then you can make a little money for yourself. Buy your wife something nice.
Something nice. I'll get her a nice Atari 7800. Yeah, I'm looking right now. As soon as I figure out how to do it, I promise we'll have polls. We'll have whatever you want. I
Well,
got
let's not get carried
a
away. I'm not
picture of
gonna.
Vinny's butt. I'll put up there for you.
Well, if you want to see my butt, it's in WJHCAM, which, by the way, is now available on Amazon Prime. That just got
Oh
accepted
wow!
this week. Well, we were waiting for our new movie Camp Smokey to hit before Halloween, which it didn't. But besides DVD, you can go to Amazon or Walmart to buy the DVD. Amazon Prime finally accepted WJHCAM, which is
Oh wow!
the fourth highest rated movie in 2022. We're very proud of that one. But we got a brand new one we're excited about. And Vinny's Fantastic Rock and Roll Adventure, which we helped co-produce. That's coming out soon too. So.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I'm gonna look this up. I was trying to figure out how to do it, and I was gonna put a poll up that says, "Should we do polls?" but,
That's actually funny. That's a funny
that
thing.
would have been funny if I could have done it.
I remember Brutal Sports Football. I remember. I don't know if that's any good. I never had a Jaguar, and I just assume most Jaguar games are terrible. But
how dare you?
Mutant League Football for the Genesis.
Oh, that was a good one.
That was pretty fun because you have these great players and they would get killed, and you'd be like, "What am I supposed?" It's like it's like watching the New York Jets in real life. You're just like, everybody's dying, and who is this guy?
I think Brutal Sports Football is a lot like that. I mean, I think they're all more like Vikings and stuff like that, but instead of monsters and werewolves and skeletons, but you can still kill your opponents and stuff in Brutal Sports Football.
Gee,
but I think
sounds pretty fun.
Yeah, if I remember though, it's a little bit more like rugby maybe than football. It's been a while.
That is right. I do remember that. And then like something was there, if you got way behind, didn't you bring out a troll? And it was like, here comes the troll, and a giant troll would come. That. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then
it's pretty similar, the two were, I think. So you never did answer, did you? What's your favorite Atari game? Since you hate all the normal stuff.
Well, I like the 7800. There was I like the 2600. I grew up with it, but there was a lot of games. My favorite Atari game, I'd have to sit down and think about that. But like if we're talking about when I was a kid.
Yeah, how about when you were a kid? Which one?
Tower Toppler by far. I'm the world record holder on Tower Toppler too. So I feel pretty good about that. But until you decided to destroy my soul. But that's the one I like the most. And then I really liked Impossible Mission until I found out that it was a piece of crap liar. Yeah. And then I really was good at Desert Falcon. And I played that a lot as a kid. Yeah. I had the world record at that as a kid. And,
really?
Yeah.
Wow.
The Game Pro world record.
What? How far have you made it in Desert Falcon?
When I was a kid, of quite a ways, dude.
I think I've only made it to like the black level, which is what, the 4th or 5th one, I think.
With the purple lakes.
Yeah, with the purple lakes.
Yeah, I made it past that.
Oh, I'm sure. Yeah.
What's your guys' favorite arcade game?
Ooh.
Well, mine's kind of a shitty one. I have one that I like, Street Fighter 2, because I have a lot of good memories with it. I actually was ranked in the world at one point with Zangief on the Xbox version. I was like in the top 25.
Oh, nice.
And I remember one day I was at Aladdin's Castle, which was the name of our arcade in our area, in our neighborhood. And I was Zangief on Street Fighter 2. I stayed up 58 games. They were lined up out the back of Aladdin's Castle, and I just kept beating. And at the time, everybody thought Zangief was the worst character, and they just couldn't understand how they kept.
Well, yeah.
They were like, "Motherfucker, beat me with Zangief," because I lived in the black part of town. Motherfucker, and then everybody would come up to try to beat me with Zangief, and I'd smoke them because it was.
Right.
Yeah, so Dig Dug and Joust is good.
Those were good. I think I liked Tempest a lot when I first tried the arcade version. That was
when you were a kid?
No, that was well after that. He didn't say when I was a kid. He just said favorite arcade game.
There's two different answers now. There's now and then.
Well, as a kid, we had a place all the kids would go for their birthday. It was called Major Magics. and they would have just all the new stuff, and they'd have some old stuff in there. I always liked the Simpsons arcade game. That was the one I remember playing the most when I had an arcade. But as an adult, later when I got to try more arcade stuff, because that was really the only arcade in my area that I remember playing arcade machines at.
Well,
as
you
I
lived
got
in Toledo. They only had one machine.
Right,
And
exactly,
then,
and
and
it
then
was
you had a
broke half the
ticket.
time.
You had a ticket, and it was like you could only play the game on a certain day of the year. And if
Yep.
you missed it, too bad. You got to
Too
wait till
bad.
next
Wait
year.
till next year. Yep. But no, as I got older, I liked Tempest a lot. That one was a lot of fun. A lot of really good arcade games. I had a
Did you
couple in my head.
did you finally get Tempest 4000?
Yeah, I got that.
Well,
Yep.
how does it compare to 2000, and how does it compare to 3000? How does it
Well,
compare to Tempest?
I never played 3000. That was
I
what
didn't either.
the Nuon version, or that might have been on the PlayStation too.
PlayStation or something, yeah.
Yeah. Tempest 2000 is always gonna be the best. It's still the best one
Over
yet.
4?
Over 4. Oh yeah. I like it over the arcade game, honestly. I mean, Tempest 2000 was just so good.
Probably the best Jaguar game.
Oh, absolutely one of the best. And I know it's kind of cliche now to say, but it is. I mean, it really is.
What's wrong with 4 then? Why weren't they able?
4,
Because Jeff Minter did that one too, right?
yeah, he did that one. It's hard to explain. It almost feels a little too slippery, I guess. The control just it doesn't feel as tight as Tempest 2000, which is weird because you actually have a spinner there on the VCS, so it should be dead spot on perfect, you would think, but it just doesn't play as good, I don't think.
I have to see. I haven't pulled the trigger because it's $20, but it's something I
Yeah.
want to experiment. Well, now
It's not bad though.
On the 50th anniversary celebration, when you play Tempest 2000, can you use the spinner on the classic controller
And no,
on the Atari VCS?
no,
You can't.
I tried. I'm pretty sure you
sucks.
can't.
Oh
I
my
mean,
God.
unless I'm wrong, but I'm almost
But you can
positive
play
it's not.
Tempest with it, right?
Yeah,
Okay.
but the spinner doesn't work.
Not on
Not
the
on.
Tempest Arcade. It works, right?
Does it?
That's what the whole gimmick was that those spinners are supposed to work, those paddles and stuff are supposed to work
Yeah,
on
but I
Tempest
think
and Breakout and stuff.
it works on 4000. I don't think it worked on 2000. I don't think it worked on the arcade. I don't think it worked on any of the Atari 50th games.
It was supposed to.
Just the 50th game. I don't remember. I might be wrong, but I remember trying it, and I remember it not working.
Try that and tell me before I spend $40 on it. That's the only reason I was going to buy it, is to do Tempest and Breakout.
Buy the Atari 50th on the VCS?
Because I've got it on the Switch.
Right. That's right. We got a few more comments here.
Anka Art. I mean, that is the problem with 4002 that it's just too crazy too visually. Because I mean, Anka R is like, okay.
Yeah, I mean a little bit.
Wow,
I mean,
race driving and hard driving.
Yeah, and Hydro Thunder and Rush. Wow,
this guy's a fucking Atari. He's an Atari. True believer.
You know what was cool in the arcades? That was the other game I was going to say. We played a lot of Primal Rage, and what was the other one by Nintendo and Rare?
It was a fighting game.
Fighting game, yeah.
Oh, Killer Instinct.
Killer Instinct. We played a lot of those too.
Yeah, Killer Instinct was pretty well balanced for a fighting game.
It was.
Hard
Rage was just cool though.
Hard driving and race driving were one of those games that was cool and it aged out.
Yeah.
You know, like after a while you're like, okay, this is kind of, but it did. I don't know what it was about that game, but that did make them a lot of money. But San Francisco Rush, oh my God, that's such a good game. On the Nintendo 64, it got terrible reviews, but if you make your circuit a death race circuit, where if you crash once, you're eliminated, oh my God, so fun. It's the San Francisco Rush.
Have you ever played Moon Patrol or Ladybug? I haven't played the arcade version of either, but I played the 5200 Moon Patrol. and Ladybug. Where did I play that at?
Well, there's a 7800 fella making
Maybe
Ladybug,
that's
right?
yeah. Maybe that's
Isn't Daryl Gunther making the Ladybug?
well. He's making
Mousetrap.
Mousetrap. Yeah.
Well, who's making Ladybug? Somebody's making Ladybug for
I know I've
7800.
played Ladybug. It must have been
Yeah.
on the 7800, but I don't remember who.
Yeah.
But yeah, I haven't played the arcade versions.
Played Moon Patrol in the arcade. I've never played Ladybug. When you're a kid from Baltimore, you think that's a game for girls.
Mad Max, as he said before, hard driving, race driving was his favorites. Pole Position, Joust, and Moon Patrol.
Oh, he got a couple in there that weren't Atari games.
Yep.
I found out that Pole Position was a Namco game and it was just licensed to Atari, even though it had Atari. Yep. That's why it's not on all of our collections.
Yep, that's absolutely right. If you get Namco collection something or another, there's a million of them now. It's on there.
I hope Atari buys Namco. That would be an awesome move.
Oh, they can't afford Namco.
Is Namco big?
Namco was bought out by Bandai, so they're Bandai Namco. So they got the toy money and the video game money, and they got Tekken behind them, and
yeah, they're not going to be able to buy that.
No.
But, sometimes, man, in the world of business, the small buys the big.
It could happen, yeah.
Because the big never makes a sense for the big to buy the small.
They might be able to license the arcade games from. I mean, if they're not doing anything with Pole Position and Atari throws them a little money, why wouldn't they? It could happen.
Pole Position Recharged, man.
There you go. That'd be awesome.
Enduro. You talking about 2600 game?
Yeah,
that was dynamite.
I love Night Driver. Did you like Night Driver?
No, it was.
Oh my god!
But they could do. Can you imagine doing that recharge? That's one of those.
That game's awesome. I love.
They could do that. They could do that recharge, man.
Yep.
Night Driver Recharge. Good grief! How cool would that be? When I was in Vegas this summer, I went to the giant pinball museum. And they actually had Death Race. You ever heard of that one?
Yep.
Yeah, it's terrible. I can't believe people gave a shit enough to try to ban it, but it was god awful. But it was cool to look at it.
Oh, I bet.
Kiss Pinball is awesome, by the way.
Yeah, that's another big one. Pinball is pretty big. I like video pinball. I liked again, we talked a little bit about Jaguar. Ruiner pinball on Jaguar was good. The NASDAQ, whatever it was, games on the Turbo Graphics. I know that's obscure too.
Oh, Devil's Crush and Alien
Crush and Alien Crush. Yep. Those were really good.
Devil's Crush is badass. I mean, that's one of the how do I play that? I think
there was a Super Nintendo version too.
No, I played the Turbo Graphics version somehow.
Huh.
Oh, it must be on this guy here. It must be on my
your
Raspberry Pi thing.
There you go. Yeah. Oh yeah, it's probably definitely on there. Hey, Jerome.
We're about to phase out.
I know,
Jerome.
we're wrapping up.
Yeah, go back and we're just kind of mumbling now. I don't know what we're doing. So,
well, we're just saying, hey, ain't this game cool? Yeah, that's cool.
I know. Hey, man, we're like fucking dorks in eighth grade or 8-year-old dorks at each other's house on a sleepeover.
You ever play Night Driver?
You like Night Driver?
You ever play that
Night Driver? That's
fun.
Oh,
thanks, Jerome. Yeah, people like he loved the 5200
video. Are these your people? Have they not subscribed to mine? Have you not been to Big and Funky Productions and subscribed?
They're our people. They're
your people. These are they always comment.
Guys,
they're always like
they're our people.
They're like, I love you, Silverback. Who's the hairy mother effer that you're with all the time? That is mean.
They know exactly who you are. You're the man.
Oh yeah, I'm the man with 82 views of video.
No, you're the man that started the Atari 7800forever.com website 20 some years ago. So you work at Dunder Mifflin, you sell paper, off-white, eggshell, you sell deodorant.
Sea spit and driftwood.
Yeah.
Brings a tear to your eye. Oh, he's like, I subbed.
He subbed to you. See, they're our people.
These are our people, John.
They're our people. They like us both. There's a bunch of Activision games that was on Atari systems that you just don't really see anymore of. I'd love to see Atari buy some of the IPs from Activision.
Hey, come on. Preach, man. Preach that stuff, bro. With this Berzerk jive, when they bought Berzerk and they bought him.
Yep.
Who did they buy? M Network? Was that
M
how they got
Network. They bought all the M Network stuff. Yep.
See, even you can. What was that tank game that was really cool? M Network did where it was like Armor Ambush or something. You could
Yeah.
recharge that mother effer. That would be a fun game to horse around with.
There was some good M Network stuff.
Pretty good, but
Yeah.
like they were good enough to where if they retooled them,
right,
they would be really fun.
See, I can't think of the name of it. There was the plane game that Network did that I really liked.
Just a girl sitting in a room and she's just like,
she was a plain Jane.
My name's
and
Jane.
You just you tried really hard.
It's a score with her.
And she always just liked you as a friend.
It's a real life dating simulator.
Right, exactly.
I'm gonna go ride on the motorcycle with the 28-year-old dude. And you're like, okay.
Well, what's this? Now they have to deal with Microsoft if they want anything from Act. That's right. Microsoft owns Activision now. That's almost all.
Well, they could. Who knows?
Yeah.
There was something else. Somebody said something and it made me think I was wanting to say something else before we jumped off, and I can't remember what the fuck they said. But anyway,
see. Was it one of the last comments or? Yep.
I don't know, man. We can get them next time.
We'll get them next time.
We'll get them next time.
Next time, if you guys like the end of this video, next time we'll do a whole podcast where we say, "Hey, you ever play Keystone Capers?
Hey, you ever played that with Bugs?
That
was pretty. Bugs was pretty bad. You
ever played Flies?
You ever played Fishing Derby?
Jinx? You ever play that one?
Elevator Action. That was one. Yeah, that'll just be 2 hours of us sitting there.
2 hours of that. Yep. And then in the chat, they can join in. They can say, "Have you ever played?"
You ever played? Yeah.
And then we'll make
no commentary either way. Just did you ever play it?
No, you don't. Yeah, you don't even answer.
Yeah.
Just, as soon as you're done talking, I'll start.
Yeah, right. You don't even listen when I say.
No.
You ever play this? You can even do that. You be like, "Hey, you ever played Armor Ambush?"
Hey, you ever played Mr. Kool-Aid?
Yeah, you ever played like one guy could be like, "You ever play Armor Ambush? Did you ever play Armor Ambush? Did you ever play Armor Ambush?" Anyway,
let's keep going. Yeah.
I wonder if we did that for 2 hours.
It'd be
just me and you sitting there saying, "Hey, you ever play that Yar's Revenge?"
Yar's Revenge. You ever heard of that?
You ever played Yar's Revenge? Yeah, and just saying the same game over and over again.
Over and like, oh, you don't even want to change the game?
No, just 2 hours. See who kills.
That's first. One of them artsy fartsy projects. There, you just stare at the camera.
This is why I have 82 people watch a video. It's because I like. Have you ever seen the shit that I do to lead in my videos? I'm like always mad. I'm mad.
You wear a towel on your head and put glasses on and drop them, and
I'm screaming at people. I'm always angry and shit. And people are like, I don't want to put up with this guy.
All right. I think we killed it. I think we've played enough games.
I want to go play some games. What's fun about this show is that this maybe some other people, I want to go play some Atari games now, and I think that's. Have you played Atari today? I think Atari. We were waiting for the check, babies. We'll shoot you straight. We'll tell you if one of your games sucks, but I'll tell you something. And I'll say this for the Atari. On the VCS store, you got it fixed. I think your games are at a good price point. Don't get greedy. Yeah. I can afford to buy numerous titles. I think $4, $3, $8, stuff like that's pretty good. So keep it up. And then when you guys release something kind of major, have you guys ever? I've never played the adult games on the 2016.
Have you ever played Custer's Revenge? Have you?
Yeah, you ever played
that game's pretty good right there.
That reminds me of a joke. One on this. So Long Ranger gets caught by savages, not the good natives, but the bad natives. They tie him up. They're going to shoot him. They're going to kill him. They're going to execute the Lone Ranger. Lone Ranger says, "Can I have one last request?" And the chief says, "You are an honorable man, even though you're our enemy. We'll let you do whatever you want." And he says, "Can I have one cigarette before I go?" So he's tied up. He's got the cigarette. They don't know it, but he's sending smoke signals to Tonto. Do you know this joke, John?
No, I've never heard it, but go ahead.
So Big long cigarette. He's sending smoke signals up. About 4 minutes later, Tonto comes riding in fast on his horse. On the back of his horse is a completely naked woman tied up to the back of the horse. And the Lone Ranger says, "You idiot! I said bring the posse."
Good night, everybody.